Hey guys, good morning, good morning. This is Motivation Station with Rose and Sanjay. Rose, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Sanjay.
How are you?
How are you today?
Doing good, not bad. Um, Trying to stay warm in this random weather. Some days are hot, some days are cold. But, overall, well, how about you?
It's been such a cold week. It's been every day was a different day this week for me.
Yeah.
Every single day. Today, I have a powerful message to tell. So, and it's going to be a message for
Mm.
everyone.
All right, well,
And
before we
let's
get.
start with you before I move to the message and everything else.
Yeah, no,
First,
I was gonna
yeah.
say we could just play catch up before we jump into nitty gritty. I mean, overall, things are well. Last week I did a lot of traveling. I went to an event like it was like a beer brewology in Jersey City last Saturday actually, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I went with one of my good friends. We tried like over 100 beers. Like they give you samples of beers,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
we sampled a lot. We ate some food. It was a good time. And then Sunday, I went to Radio City Hall, and I'm a like big Lord of the Rings fan, so they had like the movie playing with like a live orchestra, and it was amazing as I
mm,
expected it to be. Um, but I was just like tired from the weekend. I was just like, there's so much to do. Like every day I went out, and then like it was a work week, and then work was heavy too. And then like this weekend, I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna stay back. I mean, I played board games last night with my friends, but I was like, I'm not. That's it. But otherwise, it's been a good progressive week. I'm getting back on track financially, which is nice. But then also, I've been working on my scripting, like I said I wanted to, and I actually finished episode 2 and 3. So now I gotta finish the fourth episode, and then I gotta get it written out. I have a friend who knows how to like write out a script, so I'm gonna have her help me. Have him help me write out the script, and hopefully when the weather starts getting better, I can finally start shooting videos and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good week overall. How about you?
wow. So, first of all, I want to say today's International Women's
Mm,
Day. I know
cheers
it's
that.
not
Yeah.
big in the United States, but in my country, in other countries, it's like Mother's Day. It's huge. Like Mother's Day here, it's huge.
Mm,
It's very huge all over the world. Today, I want to say Happy Women's Day for every female that in our audience who is listening to us, who is not listening to us, who will listen to us later, is gonna join in this podcast. I want to wish everybody beautiful spring, a beautiful colors. It's
mm.
just, it is the day. I already have my beautiful vase for spring. And of course, today, one of the gifts we always give for Women's Day is tulips. Look at these tulips.
Oh wow, they're very
This is
colorful.
fire, fire, girls. Today it's all about us. It's all about us. Look at this. I am ready. I'm so ready for spring.
Yeah.
You know what I always say? You bring your own weather everywhere you go.
Mhm.
Even if it's not sunny outside, it's cold and freezing and whatever you think it is.
Mhm.
It's about how you feel inside. It's about your sunny weather. Come
Yes.
on. It's not about when times get better, I'm going to shoot the video. It's now you're going to shoot it. Because by the time the weather gets better, you're going to have a number 5, 6, and 7 shooting. Time don't wait for us. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it won't. It has nothing to do with the
But,
video waiting.
that but, right?
Yeah. Well, it's but because I understand your reasoning. It just doesn't apply to me now. Like I can't shoot a scene where we're fighting and falling into a pool when it's 30 degrees outside.
I
I'm not
got
trying to. I get what you mean. I'm not disagreeing,
you. They
but
do, though.
yeah, they do, and they have a professional staff, warm up easily and stuff like that. I got $20 in my wallet. I'm not doing anything.
You start where you are, we start where we can. First of all, I want to say congratulations to us. Motivation Station got to the next level. Now we are a corporation. We are LLC.
Mm-hmm.
We are LLC. Now we are business owners, Sanjay. And I want to congratulate you for being part. We're 50-50. It's a 50-50. It's you and me. It's a beautiful thing. And now when we have LLC, the next step we're going to have a patenting our logo. And I think it's the best if anyone wants to participate. Maybe in the future we can open GoFundMe page, and everyone who participates can get a free merch, first free merch from us, right? For being so generous. I think the faster we get there, guys, the faster you're gonna have your beautiful mugs and t-shirts and the shop going. I know. It's like, oh my God, right? Everything's happening so fast. But life is happening fast too. And I want to give today a huge message. I want to give today a huge message for people that fighting. I want to speak update on my mom,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please.
right? It's been a very stressful week, a very stressful week. Every day since last Sunday was a roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
a very roller coaster. She lost her cognitive function for about 5 days. Out of those 5 days, 3 days she's been sleeping. She didn't react, she didn't talk, she didn't speak, she didn't eat. It was a moment when I doubted. I was like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, you made a miracle on January 19th. She said she was born again. And now this has happened. What is happening? So every day was a roller coaster. And then one day she was sitting up. The next day she was eating. The third day she started walking a little bit. Today
Mm-hmm.
she smiled.
That's good.
Today smiled, and 2 days ago she smiled once. My sister is there. My sister is very burned out. Very burned out. And I really understand. She can't control her emotions. She's getting very angry. She's just like angry at everything because she's burned out. And now I was in the middle of making a decision. Should I just leave everything and fly out? She's my mother, right?
Of course.
You would do everything for your mom. But my shirt says I'm mom's favorite today
Mm-hmm.
because it's Women's Day, it's Mother's Day, it's all about my mom today. And the message is every day it was a different thought processing in my mind. Every day was a different process. Like, what is happening? Why is this happening? Every day different. I reached out to you. You reached out to JD. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure there was a prayers. I reached out to my official teacher, my guidance teacher, with all of my abilities. I'm in a special circle, Coven, and they were doing a lot of healing sessions. I have been doing a lot of healing sessions, and for the first time, I was able to connect to a soul that's alive.
Mm. Mm.
And the day she was sleeping for 2.5 days, my sister was sick, she couldn't be there. So this happened that nobody was there. She lives by herself, my mom. I wasn't angry. I was just like, why is this happening, right? I
Mm-hmm.
even asked God, why is 2.5 days she couldn't pick up her phone? Instead of the landline, she put remote control instead of the phone. She didn't know what she was doing. The
Right.
cognitive was off because of the side effect of the medication. I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of medication is this? Right? So, and now I was so scared. I was praying, and she came to my dreams. She came to my dreams. She was standing like in the 90s when she was like 45, dressed beautiful, smiling at me. And I was like, what is this? Is this a good sign Or what is this, right? Because you're always questioning. In today's message, do not question. Do not question anything. Trust. And then I reached out to other people. It was a lot of people were putting a lot of good energy and praying. And then I did another healing session for her. Her soul started talking to me, came and said, "Hey, listen, right now I just want to be next to you." I said, "Mom, I understand. I'm not there yet, but it's happening. It's happening. Let's believe. Let's calm down, right?" And then I know how you feel. You feel you're sick, it's a death sentence or whatever you think it is. We need to change the thinking. And then I'm doing another healing session. She comes to me. She's like, "Don't worry. Don't don't blame yourself." You know. So I was like, okay. Now I started really panicking 2 days ago. I
Mm-hmm.
started crying hysterically because I don't know what's happening, right? Crying, crying. Yesterday, crying, crying. My chest pain started happening. I was like, God, I don't want to have a heart attack or anything either,
Yeah.
because I'm not there. I'm so many miles away,
Yeah.
and all I can do is pray, right? And yesterday, I did my 10,000 walk. I said, let me go for a walk. Let me just get out of this thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I put Quran prayers, and all day yesterday was rainbowy. Everywhere I saw it was rainbowing, rainbowing, rainbowing. And I know my angels comes in rainbow. I was like, let it be a good sign.
Mm.
Listening to Quran, I started having calming feelings. Like, shh, everything's fine. Hoponopono comes to my mind, right? All week. Like last 3 days, Hoponopono came to my life. I was like, Rosie said, bad things happen, you gotta be thankful,
Mm.
right? Now I'm coming down, I'm listening to Quran, and boom, God speaks to me. You know what he said? Even yesterday I told you, hey, I might not come out tomorrow. I might not feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But things change after that. You know what God told me? He said, I gave you second chance. I gave you miracle. I gave you life again. Why don't you trust me? Why don't you create situation in your mind that is not needed or not happening? Not happening. She's alive. She's
Mm-hmm.
breathing.
Yeah.
She's not walking, talking. Why we create something in our mind that it's not there or we don't need? And boom, right away, my faith, my belief got up 100 million%. I believed in myself. I believed in my mom. I believed in God. And I told her the same thing this morning. And the best part, I said, why? God, you put her to sleep for 2.5 days. Why this cognitive function happened? And he said, listen, you were praying every day that she's cancer free. In those 2.5 days while she was sleeping, we needed to kill all the cancer cells because while you're not eating, your cancer cells starving.
Mm-hmm.
There goes the why that's happening. Hoponopono came again. Be thankful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And today's message is all about faith. It's mindset. And today I texted my sister because my mom thought we'd fight it. She's like, I don't want your sister to fight. And she was worried about it. I said, Mom, we're not. We're not. Everything is fine. And I texted my sister. I apologized because we did have some fallout because she was emotional. I was emotional. She thought psychotherapy did this, or I said, listen. No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
She was fine. First time in 50 years, she had an appetite. First time in 5 years, she had a taste for food. She took a bus. She went to the concert. She went to the forest. She was doing steps. How psychotherapy did this? No, 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 no. Now, I apologize, of course. I texted my sister. I said, I love you so much. I value you. You're the only sister I have. I want to apologize if I did hurt you. She's like, no, no, no. Where you got this from? She don't even have that, but my mom did.
Yeah.
And I'm glad my mom shared that out. She didn't press it down. She shared it. She's like, I don't want you to get fired with it. I said, no, mom, I'm wise enough. I'm not emotional anymore. I'm rational. I'm wise enough to say, hey, listen, we were just emotional. We were just nervous. We were all nervous
Mm.
because this has happened like out of the blue. Boom, right? Now she's in IV. Now she has a medication for her liver. Now hopefully my package will get there. Now I want to order her air fryer so she don't have to use the old school cooking. Just put it in the air fryer. Now magnesium is coming, new product in my company. She needs magnesium. Now she's taking 4C. She's taking 2 omegas just to fight everything off, boost the immune system. Today's message, if you ask something from God, trust Him. Don't question. I was questioning. I was doubting. I was like, why is this happening, Sanjay? Why? I didn't trust Him. I needed to trust God more than ever. And I told my mom, Mom, we asked for this. Let's trust Him. Let's change. This year is a new year. Let's leave. Let's restart this year. Let's start living new. Let's change. If we don't change something, nothing changes.
Yeah.
If we start changing, I said today's affirmation, I'm getting better, I'm healthy. I'm
Mm.
getting better, I'm healthy. You going to say these words every single minute, second of the day because you are getting better. You are woke up today. You were walking today. You eating. She's like, oh, my mind is not there yet. I said, be patient. Give time for yourself to get better. Last time it took 3 weeks. This time I take same similar time. But you know what? Anything is possible. Everything, anything is possible with God. Because God provides. And that's a strong message today for everyone who's fighting today. Any disease. Change your mindset. Change the way that you do things. Watch what you eat. Exercise. Put bright colors into your life. Because today, you writing your own story. If you think bad, bad happens. If you think good, good happens. And I told my mom today we're gonna think good.
Mm.
We're gonna think good. We're gonna listen ourselves. We're not gonna listen everything. They did a regular checkup on her. Went on Tuesday and they said, "Oh, you didn't have any stroke." How can you say that to my mom? She took it so personal. She thought she's having some. I said, "Mom, it was just a regular checkup," and I'm glad. Your heart is great.
Mhm. Yeah.
Her her blood work didn't show really good positive things for the first time because her body was in the shock mode. I told my mom, your body was in the shock mode. Analysis not, but come on, it will be fine. Give patience, trust,
Yeah.
and me to be able to gain that faith back was a turning point for me. Turning point.
Mm.
It happened yesterday, and I said, you know what? I have to trust. I must, because without faith, why create situations that's not there, that we don't need?
Yeah. I mean, I agree
I
with you. You
hope
know,
I
you know,
gave you goosebumps. I have goosebumps
it,
right now.
I had that mentality, and like for me, like obviously I'm not in the same situation as you or your mom, or like a family situation like that. But I've had moments like that in the past, and A lot of it, I agree with you, that it starts in your own head, right? So I have my belief in faith and the way I think, about the power of faith and stuff like that. um but I had those vulnerable situations where it's just like, once you let it creep up in your head, it builds a home there, and it could be a good home or it could be a bad home, but once it builds a home there, it builds a home there, and
Yeah.
that's where it's going to stay, right? And your mom, yourself, your sister, you all hit one point or another during the week that you guys were vulnerable, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's people out there that exist that can think positive 100% all day every day, right? Despite no matter what happens, right? But I think everyone can be vulnerable, right? You may not show it. People may not show it. Even those people who are 100% positive all the time, they might not show it, and they might have mastered not showing it, but they are vulnerable too, right? But we're still getting stronger every day. We're still getting through every day with different challenges. Some days are better than others, some days are more challenging than others. But I don't think it's a weakness to be vulnerable. It's a weakness to be vulnerable and not do anything, right? So for you, the power of faith, the power of God, helped you get out of your darkness, right? But like I think I talked about it in the past when I talked about sometimes you got to touch the darkness to understand darkness a little bit better. And there's times where I was like that. But even you remember last week, I think we were talking about the podcast, and we're just like, oh man, what a week, what a week. It was the only week last week that everyone around me kept saying what a week, and to me, I was just like, actually, I just had a really good week. But bad things did happen, but I didn't think about it like, oh well, what am I gonna do about this? What am I gonna do about that? Even this week, right? So just to lay it out there lightly, like I am going through some financial struggles that I just had unexpected bills and stuff like that come up, and I'm getting through it. And like I have money. I have money for travel, for work. I have money for food, for my family. There's nothing that bad. But my mind kept racing ahead, like, well, what am I gonna do Wednesday? What am I gonna do Thursday? And I'm like, you know what? Like after a point, I was just like, let me just get to that day and I'll figure it out. And I never ran into a problem, you know. And I know like I can reach out to any of my friends and be like, hey man, can I just borrow like a few bucks to get like a coffee or whatever? Thankfully, I don't need anything like that right now. But I have a few close friends who are like, look, I don't have a lot, but I can give you some too. And I was like, oh no, thank you, but I'll keep that in mind. I'll always be the person that gives you money. Like if you ever need anything and I can help you, I will. But if I'm down and stuck in the same situation, I don't like asking for money. I don't like, even like you'll come up to me like, oh Sanjay, I can give you like $100 and you'll be good. I'm like, that's great, but I don't want to borrow money from you, right? And it's not that like, well, you do, when I'm in trouble you give me money. It's just like my personality. I don't like asking for money if I can avoid it. But I know that people are there to support me, people are there to help me. But anyway, not to get too into there, but what I mean is like it started sticking in my head, like, well, what am I gonna do the next week? What am I gonna do next month? What am I gonna do? Whatever. Right now, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna take it a day at a time. I'm like you said, grateful that I wake up. I got food. If I need food, I know I can get food. You know, I'm still in my house. I still have a job. I still have ways of making money. And I was like, I'm just gonna take it like that. And there are days where it's harder. There are days where it's bad. Like yeah, I so I found another train station to park at near my house, right? And when I looked on
Mhm.
NJ
Mhm.
Transit's website, I thought it said I could park there for free. So I was like, oh hell yeah! And it worked out because it's a very small station, and there's only a platform. There's no office or anything. And when I looked it up, I thought it said it's free for people who have a permit or don't have a permit. So I go there and I park there. On the first day I parked there, I had no problems, right? Um, but it was a bad day because uh, there was an accident on the train tracks, and someone passed away, right? So
Ooh.
yeah. So I mean, I was stuck on the train for 2 hours, but I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm just on the train. I mean, everybody's freaking out, and I'm just sitting there listening to music, and I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? Above all, I just felt bad for the person who passed away. I don't know exactly what the situation was. They said it was like a trespasser,
Mhm.
but still, someone passed away. That's not cool, you know. And I came back home. I got home late, and I was tired, and I played with my daughter a little bit. And that's always like just a energy rebuilder. And then the next day I went to work, no problems, everything was successful. I come back to my car to see a ticket, and I'm like, oh, come on. So I look at the ticket, and it's like, oh, this is it's permit parking only. And I was like, son of a gun. And I started like, there's signs everywhere, and I'm just too dumb to notice. And literally all the parking spots for that train station everywhere are a permit, and I'm like, damn it, because like for me it was like saving money because I don't have to pay for a parking space, and then it was a little bit cheaper. And now I'm not saving money because now I got hit with $100 fine. And now I had two. Now
Ooh.
I had two situations. Now it was like, well, I'm already broke, and now I have this. Now what am I gonna do? And I was like, you know what?
Remember
It's
what you tell yourself
I
will you
yeah. I
become.
was just like, whatever. I'll have to pay it next week. I learned a lesson. I can't park here, and fortunately, like I bought train tickets and stuff like that. And I was like, what do I do now? And I was like, oh, you know what? My friend lives nearby. He lives like 5 blocks away from that train station. He's like, listen, man, just park at my house for the next few days and walk to a train station. So I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, I'm at a loss because I got to pay $100, but it could have been worse, And like instead of freaking out and like trying to return tickets, trying to fight the court because it's like, oh, well, I didn't know. I was just like, hey, you accept the things that happen to you, and what are you gonna do? You just got to move on. So I moved on. I paid. I parked somewhere else now. But like I had to change. Like I think if I had my old mentality, I wouldn't think this way. I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm already down in the dumps, and I gotta pay another $100. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Now it's just like, well, shit happens, and you move on. So definitely changing my mentality like helped. And I want to also say on top of like put your faith in God, right? Which you started to question, right? But I think more than anything, I think it was kind of half like 50-50, right? That like yes, like you started losing not faith, but like you're just like, God, why is this happening? God, why is this happening, right? But you're losing faith in yourself as well. And I think that was mainly coming from your loss of faith from God. Like instead of believing in yourself, because that's that's why me and you, like I love and I appreciate the way you think about God and the way you have your faith, and just like our other podcast guests, even like my
Yes.
brother-in-law, Pastor Jong there, right? Like your faith in God for everyone is just beautiful. And even though my faith isn't there, I still agree with the way you guys believe. And I might look at it from a different point of view that you may or may not agree with. But like the more you were talking about it, and you're like, you're asking God this and that, and it was like you're building scenarios. Like I can tell you that God wasn't building those scenarios in your head. You were, right? Like you were questioning God, why is this happening? But it was more your thinking was thinking that, right? You were thinking you were thinking out loud to yourself, like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And you were asking God that, right? But the thing is, God never put that scenario in your head, right? He was like, Rose, we got this. Your mom got this. Your sister got this. We all got this. You're stuck in your own head right now.
Yep.
And then it was for you to come out of that shell and just be like, you're right. I got to put my faith back in you. I got to put my faith back in the situation, right? And to me, to you, it's like you just have to put that faith back in you, right? And I know you messaged me during the week, and you're like, should I just go to Russia? Should I just go to Russia? And I know like your situation here in the U.S. is a little bit unique and whatnot, and I won't get too into that, right? But I'll give you a story. Like I didn't hesitate. When my mom was in the U.S., like like when we're all living here, and her dad got sick, right? And she was in a state that she had no money. She had like 200-300 bucks in her account because like she just did grocery shopping. She paid a huge bill and stuff like that. And she's like, my dad is really sick, and like I need to go back. And and ironically, I had money saved up because I was rebuilding my car. You remember my car? I was rebuilding my car, and I was like, I finally have enough money to get another motor. I finally have enough money to get another transmission. The second this happened, I was like, Mom, let me buy your ticket. And like I dropped everything. I gave her money to buy the ticket. I gave her money to travel comfortably to get food and stuff like that. And I was like, you need to just go. And obviously, I'm sure you know, or you may, but like if you buy a ticket last minute, that shit costs a lot of money. You know,
But you know what it is? Even if I go, I won't be able to come back.
that's the that's
That's
that's what I'm saying. So your
that's the
situation is
part.
unique, and that's
My
why I talked you
situation
through
is
it.
very unique.
I
Yeah.
That's why I talked you through it. I was like, look, if you're gonna go, just know what you're getting yourself into. But like the thing is, like I can't speak for you in that situation, but like even right now, if I had no money, right, and I don't, and God forbid something happened to my parents and there's something in India, I would do whatever I can to go, you know. And I know the situation is gonna suck, but like I would do everything in my power to go, just like I did everything in my power for my mom to be able to go see her dad, and she did. She went the next, like, I bought her a ticket the next day. I was like, just go, right? And I was like, I'll figure out the situation at home. Like I saved up money for my car, but I still have money for like food, whatever, blah blah blah. But I was like, I was so excited to have fixed my car, but in that moment I didn't hesitate at all to buy her a ticket, you know. And if same thing,
I
if
wish I could do that.
listen, if I had the money, the same
And it's
situation.
not about the money. It's not about the money.
But yeah, outside of the money, like
You know what I
your
mean?
actual
Yeah.
situation, yeah. And like I know you're talking about ideas about like doing this and doing that, and I'm like, look, if whatever you decide to do, just kind of think this through, you know? And like, I mean, more than anything, I would love for you to be with your mother. Absolutely, 110%, because that's your mom, right? But like, I also get your situation about being here and being in the US and being trying to do what you're trying to do, succeed in life, succeed in, business, all this stuff. Totally get it. And that's why I'm like, you gotta think things like through. And for me, at that moment, I didn't think things through rationally, so I did take a burn, but I was willing to take that burn. I can't say, should you burn yourself and go see your mom just to go see your mom. I can't answer that for you, and I'm not gonna ask you to answer that, right? But I would. The only thing I implore to you is that you think about stuff. You think about that and think about what you can do. And we're definitely in this like a tougher situation with like the way everything's running in the U.S. right now. But
Government, everything.
yeah,
I
but
was like,
you
what
know.
is happening?
But like I like at least what I can at least say to you is you are still making the best of the situation, right? Like you're doing the best you can with what you have in your hands. You're playing your cards to the best of your ability, and you know, I don't think you should feel like, I mean, I don't think you do, but like I don't think you should feel like ashamed, like that you couldn't do more. Like I try to tell my cousin all the time, like when my uncle passed away, he felt ashamed because like I felt like I could do more. I was like, listen, man, you did a lot. I was like, stop looking at the stuff you didn't do and start looking at the stuff you did, right? And even for you, like
Yes, I love.
your mom is going through some stuff now, right? But like, look at how much you've done for her too. And like, in that moment of vulnerability, when something happened to her, she started panicking. But I'm glad you went back to her and you said, "Mom, look how far we've come." There's gonna always be dark days. There's always gonna be dark days, but it makes us appreciate the days that were light, the days that were brighter, the days that were warmer, the days that were more loving. It's not always like, don't get me wrong. People should. It's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to like kind of take that pain, but you gotta do your best to get back up, because once you get stuck there, you get stuck, and sometimes some people, unfortunately, do not get out. So your mom, I'm
Hmm.
happy that for today's update that she's doing better, and it's you gotta take it a day at a time. And she knows that she has two loving kids that care about her, right? And even though one is there in person and one is not, you guys are all stronger together, right?
Yes,
That's
my
that's.
brother's there too.
Oh, I
Yes.
didn't know you had a brother, but okay, there,
I
perfect,
do
yeah.
have a brother, and today's Women's Day. We already sent her flowers. Luckily, I was able to send flowers to her and my sister. We cannot send any money from US to Russia, but I was able. I luckily, in my network business, I got last year, 2 years ago, I met a lady. She became my partner, and she does have a Russian card.
Mhm.
So she sends money from her card in rubles, and I give her dollars. I sell her money. She lives here, but she has a Russian card.
That
I
works out, yeah.
was blessed with that, so I was able to send her flowers. I was able to send my sister flowers, which is amazing. Right now, I found a way to send the package, right? It's still stuck somewhere in Kazakhstan. Hopefully, it's gonna be soon. It's gonna be sent out to.
Period.
It's happening because right now there are proteins, there are probiotics, postbiotics that she needs to, like, vitamins and minerals that she needs. Right now things are possible.
Yeah.
Things are possible when you know what you want, the universe gives it to you.
Mm.
but you need to know what you want. And I'm glad things are happening. I appreciate your support. Everything you're saying is very supportive, very meaningful. I definitely agree. There's good days and bad days. And
Hmm.
in every bad day, we gotta take something good, right? I keep telling my mom, look at the winnings. What
Yeah.
did you win today? Daily winnings, daily winnings, daily winnings. You got up today? Did you eat? Yes. Did you drink water? Yes. Do you breathe? Yes. Did you go to the bathroom? Yes. What more do you need? You retired.
Yeah.
What more do you need? Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. Just relax your mind. Be patient.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. That is amazing what our mind could do.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
don't don't let your mind control you. You control your mind. Say, hey, shut up. I'm the boss here. Not you. I'm the boss. Let me tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Because whatever you're telling me is just because you want me to be safe. That's what the brain wants you to do. Be safe. And that's why your mind's gonna tell you everything that's keeping you safe. That's a medical fact of the brain.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about survivability. It just kind of keeps you going. Like your brain fights to fight, but
Yeah,
it's always one of those things where it's like
I'm
the
mom's
battle.
favorite. That's
It's
right.
between the battle of like your brain and your heart, essentially. And like you said, when
Where's
you are
everybody today? What's happening?
when also hey, listen, they could be celebrating Women's Day. You don't know. Most of our guests are women. They might be out there doing the thing. So I'm not gonna argue. I'm just hoping they're having a good and safe time. Is it? But
I'm just, I've been bringing everybody love.
to your point, yeah, no, I agree. Like, when you want good stuff to happen, right? The universe brings it to you, right? But you also want to reach out for it, right? You want to have that courage to reach out for what you want. And in the past I struggled with when good things started happening. I was just like, I backed up instead of like embracing it. I backed up and I was like, should this be happening to me? Right? Because of so many bad times that I've been going through, I was like, am I even worthy of this? Should I even get this? And it took me a long time to be like, yes, I do, of course, right? And I had to reach out and be like, yes, I want this. And that's like, like I said, when my attitude started changing. I missed a train. Well, that was on me. I can't blame like the train for coming on time and me not being there. I
Yeah.
can't, I can't blame anything like that. So it's like, all right, well, I got to do better. Okay, I'll do better. Okay, sounds good. And I did. And I appreciate like where I work now with the people I work with. Like they're very accommodating for me. So, there's days where I was going through like hardships and I was getting to work late, but each day was getting better. But, they had two choices too. They could have been like, listen, you need to do better today or tomorrow. And like, no exceptions, no exceptions, right? Instead, they came back to me like, you're okay? Like, is there something you need? Like, do you need to start later or something like that? I said, no, I'm having a few bad days, like health wise, right? So, one day I came in like an hour late, unfortunately. The next day I came in about like 20 minutes late. Third day I came in on time. This week when I went, I think I was late one day because the train was late, and I'm like, that's outside of my control. Like, the train ran late, and that's the only one train that comes at that time. And then the day after that, I ran on time. Um, but it's funny that like you do have to like your mentality does come from like obviously what you think about like good or bad, right? But it actually responds to the way your body is too, right? So I was definitely like dehydrated. I wasn't eating right for like the week and stuff like that. And just because I was basically treating my body like poop at this point, right? My mindset's not going to be great either. So it was until I started like eating a little bit healthier, sleeping a little bit more, exercising, stuff like that. That's when I like the your mind just kind of like, hey, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is gonna continue being good. Um, yeah. So to your point, the mind does definitely work in crazy ways for sure, right? And like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with being vulnerable. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a hit. It's just a matter of like understanding what to do after. You could take a hit and stay down, but just know that you will stay down. or you can take a hit, brush it off, get back up, and then when something like that happens again, you're gonna do that too. You know, we're a reflection of our consistency, right? But just because we're not consistent all the time doesn't mean we can't get back there, right? So you had some days that were tougher on you, Rose, but now you're doing a little bit better. And sometimes it's okay to, take a fall and just sit there and maybe appreciate, like, just like take in understanding what happened, right? And like, I'm happy you're here, don't get me wrong at all, okay? I'm happy that you're here today on our podcast. But even when you're like, look, I might not make it tomorrow, right? Don't think ahead and just be like, oh, I have to do this for motivation station, I have to be there for everybody and stuff like that, right? Sometimes you need to be there more for yourself than anybody, and sometimes you just need that breather, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we would obviously, even on the podcast, even if it was just me alone, apparently, because our guest, unfortunately couldn't make it today, we would still be thinking positive about you. We'd be still wishing well upon your mom and stuff like that, and we'd be looking forward to our next podcast with you to see how everything is going. But you were able to make it, and we're happy about that too. But even if you weren't, what I'm saying is just that we would be okay with it, and you need to understand that you should be okay with it. But your mindset is built a little bit different. Your mindset is built a little bit stronger, and that's why you're here. But don't
I
feel
needed to be
bad,
here.
and
I
yeah,
needed
exactly.
to be here because I needed to
Especially if it
let it
boosts you.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, it's such, that's why we call it motivation station, because it's such a huge, when I let it out, when that motivation comes out of me, it's like a honey to my ears.
Hmm.
It's just like, okay, this is like a confirmation of everything, because everything I say is they say, right? Walk your talk.
Hmm.
So everything that I preach, I use it. I
Hmm.
do it myself. Because if I'm not using it or doing it, it's just the words,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And by having this message came to me so strongly last night, says, what am I doing? What am I doing? No, the world needs us.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
world needs to hear this. You know how many people are struggling and fighting?
Yeah.
You gotta hear yourself. Stop it. Stop your mind race. Listen to yourself for once. Listen to your body. Your body knows what it needs. It needs water, give it water. It needs apple, give an apple. Stop feeding yourself. Stop closing your mind and feeding yourself with outside. Look within.
Hmm.
Look within, because within you can heal yourself. Your body restores itself. Every 30 days we have new cell growth. Every 7 days, our skin renewates. We got new skin,
Hmm.
right? Everything is has a cycle in our body. Why we not let it happen? Why, as you said, you stuck? It's great. It's okay. But get unstuck. Don't stay there. Because it's definitely like, that the water when it brings you down, like you can't even get out, you know?
Hmm.
Suggy. No. Get yourself up. And today I said, I need to get on here, hear myself, hear God, hear you, hear others, and tell anything is possible. Anything is possible when you trust. Trust. Today, beautiful day, Women's Day. It's springtime over there. It's gorgeous. Today I'm having a beautiful spring awakening. It's called Spring Awakening Collection. Look at this beautiful daffodil.
Hmm.
All the tulips. Come on, put some bright colors into your life.
Yeah.
It's amazing. FedEx is here. My new intensive care is here. I'm gonna be shooting for the next 2 weeks. New program for the skincare. Look,
Hmm.
my skin is amazing. Why? Because I took care of it. Why my mom is doing better? Because God taking care of it. I taking care of it. First, I take care of my mind yesterday,
Yeah.
and then I take care of how I feel,
Hmm.
and then I again take care of my mind, how I feel after how I feel, and then I started talking about it, and then it's happened. You
Hmm.
know, It's like that. How you feel goes to your mind. From your mind goes to your mouth. You speak about it. And then goes to your mind again. And then that is your reality.
Mm.
That's like a whole system. Feel, mindset, talk, mindset. Whatever you think of yourself, that's who you become. If you keep telling yourself you are broke, then you are broke. If you're telling yourself right now, I'm making a little less than I want to, but things are happening for me, doors are opening, and I'm getting financially open,
Mm.
right? Open the path for money. As I open the path for faith. I open the path for everything. Let me tell you what happened in the good side, right?
Mm.
Between the roller coaster with my mom. I told last podcast that I'm going to be working with Ramsey
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I meant to
Gordon,
ask about
right?
that. Yeah.
A beautiful restaurant. So I went to the interview on Wednesday. Interview went so well. GM that works for Ramsey Gordon. She was writing. She had like I think like 10 questions, like how you motivate yourself, what do you do as a teamwork, and blah blah blah. When it's busy, she was asking knowledge on my drinks, and I did everything great. She said, you know what? I do have a few interviews, like they have to say
Yeah,
that.
I mean they
We
say
have a
that
couple of
about everything.
interviews, and we're definitely gonna call you on Tuesday, even if it's a no. We're still gonna call you on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, you know what? She asked me twice in the beginning and in the end. Do you want to be a server? Like, bringing plates and stuff like that. I was like, server, not really. Bartender, yes. I'm like, I'm not a that girl. She's like, you don't have to do that. You just have to bring three plates. I just serving my upper body. I'm capable, but I don't want to take a chance.
I mean
I don't want to
you know what you
Ramsey
want.
Gordon dishes be on the floor. I
Yeah,
want people have a beautiful cocktails because I could do that. I
yeah.
have it over 10 years, over 15 years of experience. Come on now. And I asked her, I said, do I have a chance? She said, yes, you do. But let me hear other people.
Yeah.
She said the people that are already working in the casino will be there. Half of the staff is moving to the restaurant,
Mm.
and then the new people is gonna team up together,
Mm.
and they're already like almost finished building the restaurant. And they don't know yet. Ramsey Gordon might be at the grand opening, might not be because now it's his corporation. It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
chain. So
Yeah.
by law, according to his contract, he has to show up at the restaurants once a year. He's not
Yeah.
gonna be there, but he's gonna show up once a year. You know what I did? I visualized it. I said, I already work there.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, I need to focus. The first money that I'm making, I'm investing in financial course
Mm-hmm.
because I want to learn how money works.
Yeah.
It's a $1,500 course, but this master, she has over 15 years of experience. She finished all kinds of schools all over the world, Harvard business schools. She created an academy. Um, she's teaching people how to make money, how to spend money, how to invest money, like every single step.
Mm.
I recommend everybody learn how the taxes work, how to make money, how to spend money. If you know these three things, you're never gonna be broke. And that's what I am right now. Like I took a lot of her free courses. I've learned a lot, but I want to take the whole 3 months huge program on every single step about money and about taxes in United States. She lives
Mm.
here. In 4 years, she moved here 4 years ago from another country. In 4 years, she bought a house. She opened a lot of businesses, and she bought 10 million. She bought in Michigan 60 housing complex. She invested
Yeah.
in 4 years. Come on, you definitely want to learn from somebody who knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's gonna be investing my time in because I'm always investing in myself.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do is invest in yourself. Learn what you need to learn to move to the next level. What are you learning? What skill you learning right now to make double income next month? Keep asking yourself. Boom. You know I needed a communication skills. Boom, I'm reading this book. I'm halfway done. And now, one of the best thing I'm doing for the second time, the second podcast, is active listening. Because I realized while I was watching other podcasts, I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening. You know that.
Mhm.
I wasn't listening to nobody. I
Y-
was,
You
but I
were
wasn't really, really actively
taking it
listening.
in. Yeah, no, I got that part. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
details. Now I want to pay attention to the details. I want to actually hear you, Sanjay. I don't want to black out. Oh, Sanjay's talking. I would just,
yeah,
I'm not saying that's what I did, but that's how I felt.
yeah,
Now I changed my feeling. I changed my thinking. I said, listen, he's very important, like everybody else. And I've learned one thing from the book. It's called Excellence Wins. Treat everybody like you would treat Jesus. Boom. That message changed everything in my life
mhm,
because I want to treat everybody like I would treat the highest most.
mhm,
Number one. Number two, I want to be here. I'm in the present. I'm here right now. It's about you. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about others. It's about active listening. It's about listening and asking questions and finding solutions for the other person because
mhm.
other person needs you. And
Yeah,
learning that in just in a short period because I put it down what skill I need to learn, communication skill, and I invested my time. I could have doing anything else. I could have just watched TV. I could have just played games. No, I said I'm gonna invest. Maybe it's 30 minutes. Maybe it's only 15 minutes. But
yeah,
every day I was investing time for my communication skill. And now I want to invest time to learn how money works.
yeah,
Because I want to be successful. Because when I'm successful, everybody around me successful.
mhm,
Every time when I learn something, I have a lettering therapy. I have two people in my life who do letters, like an old school way. We send out letters.
yeah, yeah,
And every time I learn something, I always send a letter to one of my friend with all the like techniques and everything. I said, I'm learning, you learning with me.
yeah,
I all the time send cards. I have like 3 boxes of vintage cards, all kinds of cards. Every time I go somewhere, I see cards. I just been to the thrift store a couple of weeks ago. I found this beautiful box. It's a coffee box, and inside there's a coffee cards, right? It has like a americano, cappuccino, cafe latte, and it has the ingredients in the front with the coffee. It's beautiful blank card. I don't like cards that are already written
mhm,
because I like to write my own message.
yeah,
And then I like to stamp it with the wax. It's just so beautiful the way I love to making it. I love doing it. And I've been sending cards all the time. My friends know I send cards all the time. Maybe
mhm.
I didn't send you one yet, but I will.
No, no, I have
So,
one. I got one. I got one from you for. I think that was like around the Christmas time period. Yeah, I got it.
yes, you
Yeah,
remember the step?
yeah, I remember the stamp.
It's just it's something that I love to do
Mm,
and something that I give out and it's just like paying attention,
yeah,
paying attention to others. Sometimes we live in our own mind. We think about our own problems. We forget about the beautifulness of the world.
yeah,
And I'm waiting for Tuesday when they're gonna call me and say, "Hey, you hired."
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
be working 2 p.m. till 10.
Okay.
It's a part-time job. They do brunch on the weekends. They have 2 shifts. I said I'm gonna work only 2 to 10. Perfect. You know why? Because at 2 p.m. in my country it's 10 p.m. My mom's gonna be going to sleep, right?
Oh yeah.
So I
So
have an
so it's
open
happening.
morning. Yes, I have an open morning to speak to my mom, to do everything I have to do with the healing session. I have an open morning for motivation station
Mm.
because number one is mom, number two is motivation station. Motivation stations are little flower blue. It's just like growing, we're watering it. It's just it's my baby, That's what I call it. Like it's just ah, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Now I get
It's
that.
like ah, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So that's it. That's it.
No,
And today I just
I'm
needed to let
happy.
it out, and I'm glad the world listened. And you know what the best? Last time Judy was our beautiful guest, she
Yeah.
was talking about not giving up. She was talking about bright side wellness.
Hmm.
I said, there's a bright side to everything.
Yeah, there is. There's always a bright side to everything, even if it's a dark or bad situation. There's always a bright side.
Let me
Sometimes it's
write
hard.
something. Come on now.
Sometimes it's very hard to see it. You know, sometimes it's hard to notice it, right? But then, like
Yes.
when you point it out, like sometimes for some people, after you point out, it's kind of like, oh, duh, like of course it's a bright side, you know. Um, but there's always a bright side,
Yes.
and then you just have to kind of think outside of where you are and like just kind of be open to perspective at that point, you know. So like your mom, going back to that, like she's doing better now, right? She went through some harder times, she went through some struggling periods, right? But she's doing better. And the bright side might not come today, but it can come tomorrow or it can come the next day. But you definitely have to have that mentality to keep fighting for that, for that goodness. Um, and other thing, I mean, I'm super stoked to actually hear that your interview went well, right? And that
Thank you.
like I do hope you get the job because obviously it'd be a fantastic experience, not just for like your resume, not just because it's like, oh, look, I'm working for Gordon Ramsay, right? But just like outside of the experience, like I know you're good at what you do, and I know it would be helpful, especially with the time period, 2 to 10, and then you got time for your, this motivation station, you got time for your mom, like everything lines up in that
It's
sense,
just
right?
yeah. Oof.
But the
Yeah.
but the beautiful part even more to me, right, is sometimes you win battles, sometimes you lose battles, right? But like not to call this a battle per se, but like at least you were able to participate in this. You know? How many people can go around saying I interviewed for a job that was for a restaurant at Gordon Ramsay? Not a lot of people can go around saying that. People have worked bartending jobs for years, decades,
Amen.
and they
Yeah.
might not have such a golden opportunity to have done. But you can say, hey, like even if you don't get it, which I'm not wishing any bad mojo or anything, but like you can be like, I
Thank
interviewed
you.
for, yeah, I interviewed for such a position, which is amazing, right? And I actually appreciate the fact that you didn't sell yourself to get the position, right? So what I mean by that is that when she came back to you and said, would you be a server? Right? You're like, no. Like, not because I don't think being a server is a quality position or anything like that. You just said being a server is not for me. I know what I want, I know what I do, and this is what I want. Right? And that really could have been its own test. Because if you came back and you're like, and you said to her like, "Hey, I'll take anything," like, "Yeah, yeah, of course, I'll be the server." She'll be like, she's kind of desperate for the job. I'm not saying that's what it was, but like, it could be. Who knows, right? But
You
like,
never know.
but she could been just testing you, like, like, does she actually really want the position she's applying for, or does she just want to work out of a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, right? So the fact that she asked you twice and you said both times, like, nah, like I don't want to be a server, I want to be a bartender, and you provided whatever reasoning and stuff like that there, that shows that like you're passionate about what you do, which I appreciate even more, right? Because a lot of people would go in and just be like, I don't out. First of all, working for Gordon Ramsay, of course. Second, if you're working at his restaurant, you're probably gonna make money, right? And they're probably like, I'll do whatever I can to make that money. But you didn't sell yourself short just to make money, right? You're doing what you have a passion to do, and you put yourself out there. I had a job interview once in Jersey City for, I forgot the name of the company, but like the stuff that like the veggie sticks and stuff that you can get. It was like their food
Hmm.
distribution company, and I had the opportunity to work for them as IT, right? And I went to the
Hmm.
interview. The building was beautiful. It was actually right outside it was in Hoboken, right in the downtown district. So if I leave work, I could go do whatever I want. And it was right along the water, and they had a nice little like I want to say boardwalk kind of thing, like a little park and everything. My wife and I and my daughter have been there when they had like a fall festival, and it was beautiful. Like pumpkins, fall leaves, the water. You could see the city skyline. Everything was perfect about it. I wasn't a huge fan because like I don't like driving into Hoboken because of traffic and stuff. But I was like, you know what? I'll do this, right? I did very well for the interview. Like I mostly nailed all the questions. Like I had a better attitude, right? So even the stuff I didn't know, I at least had the right attitude to either figure it out, ask someone to figure out or do, whatever, right? But the job did involve being a little bit more physical. So we had like TVs mounted on the wall. We had TVs like that were in
Yeah,
walls that
yeah,
were
yeah.
built. So
Mhm.
like there's time to time that sometimes you got to service them. And I was like, oh, I should be able to do it. And I tried a few things, and like he could see me struggling, right? But he's like, okay, he can kind of do it. And I went to the interview, and like the guy that interviewed me and I had such a great dynamic, and we worked well, right? And then the next day he called me and he had told me that like he had chosen another candidate, right? And I wasn't bothered by it. I was like, I'm thankful for the opportunity. And he said, honestly, he's like, you would have been perfect for the role, right? He's like, I have nothing bad to say about you. It's just that someone was a little bit better, right? And I know what he meant, right? He didn't want to word it in such a way. He's like, look, it's a physical job, and
Mhm.
I don't think you're
Mhm.
capable of doing like a little bit of the physical work. He didn't want to say it in that way, but I was like,
Yes.
listen, even if you say it that way, I'm okay with it because I understand it. You want a person that can do this, and with me, I may be there 60, 65%. You need someone that's there 85, 90%, or even 100%, right? And he's like, dude, I know you're gonna find a job. I know you're not gonna struggle with getting work, right? He was like, I would love to have you work for this company, but like this position itself just may not be the one for you, right? And you know what it did? It put me in a perspective. I was like, you know what? Because like with IT, there's like a bunch of stuff you could do. I was like, you're right. I really shouldn't be doing this physical work for an IT job. Because like as much as I can probably do like 70, 75% of it comfortably, I I am a handicap. I do struggle with some stuff. I really shouldn't be doing physical work, you know? And he's like, I'm glad you have that mindset because he's like, honestly, you're like a fantastic person. You have a great personality, right? He's just like, I just think this is a little bit more challenging for you, but like he's like, maybe in another position where you're not doing as much, you may still be able to do this position. But here, it's like he's like, we just kind of needed it. And I was like, look, man, I'm not gonna fight with you. I'm not gonna be like, yo, like you made the wrong decision. I'm like, no, I actually appreciate everything you're saying to me. I was like, you're absolutely right, and it opened up a perspective to me that was like, I'm gonna take a step back and just do work behind the keyboard, like type and be on the mouse all day and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I did. I found a much better opportunity now, making a hell of a lot more money, right?
Mhm.
Closer to home. I get to ride the train. I get to go to Newark. I can go to New York easily now. Like all these doors open, but like I could have walked away from that situation with a different mentality and be like, f
Mhm.
this place, f this, f that. But I was like, you know what, man, you're right. Like it made me self-reflect and just be like, you know what, let me take a step back from doing physical work because my physical health isn't the best, but I am good at this and I am good at that. So let me focus on that, right? So because of like an opportunity like that, like I walked away with a better mindset. And even here, like, listen, I really hope you get the job because one day when you tell me Gordon Ramsay's gonna come to the restaurant, I'm gonna show up in a second. I'm like, oh, Rose, Rose, that's my best friend. We do motivate. We maybe, who knows? Maybe we have Gordon Ramsay
Who
on our
knows?
motivation station.
Who knows?
Who knows,
Think
right?
big, think big, think
Just
big.
I'll show up with my motivation station hoodie, right? And underneath your outfit that you wear for work, just wear your motivation station, t-shirt. Who knows? But still, it's such a beautiful opportunity for you to have, been able to be a part of, right? Even if it was just an interview. But like now, like I know you can think even this mentality that like, hey, I didn't get this job, but at least I focused on wanting to get this job, this
Anything's
position.
possible. I'm already hired.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
I know. I'm
yeah,
already
and yeah, you
hired.
have that sort of faith, right? And that sort of mindset built. It's all set, and it's great. It's great. I'm still doing the practice on aiming for that high, right? I'm okay with not being there yet because my thing is, even if I don't aim that high, even if I hit under that mark, I'm still fucking happy because you know why? I at least shot my shot. Some people don't even shoot, right? Wayne
You know
Gretzky,
what? I
you
think,
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
yeah, yes.
You
I
know?
love that you say don't sell yourself short. I love that. Also, I love that you saying
Yeah.
that, maybe you're not fully faith like like a million percent. But you know what? Even it's 20%, it's much better
It's
than
still,
0%.
yeah,
And you know what it is? It, with every podcast is growing. I can see it is growing.
yeah,
It's growing. Because I know my mindset and my positive power of positivity, it's contagious. I want to be
yeah.
contagious.
It is,
I
yeah,
want to be I want to be good to be contagious. I want
yeah,
my energy to be contagious. I want my light, radiance be contagious because if you're around negative person, how long can you stand next to him? 5 seconds.
yeah,
If you're around positive person, how long can you stay there?
yeah,
5 days or more. Like, oh, I just don't want to leave. You
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
want everyone who is around me say, I don't want to leave. And when they leave, I want to tell them she made such a huge impact on me.
Yeah. No, I got that.
And and that's what I want. And that's what you did to me right now.
Mm,
You gave me an impact. Maybe you're not believing it yet how impactful you are,
yeah,
but you are. We are a great combo, and the impact that we create in other people's life, it's so major.
yeah,
It's so contagious. It's so beautiful. We
yeah.
need this. We need this everywhere. We need this for the whole world.
No, I appreciate the fact that like it's not just like what you do and your surroundings, because sometimes you can be a very positive person, but if you're in a situation where it's nothing but negativity around you, it does sink into your skin and it does start hitting you, right? But it's the same reverse effect exists too. Like if you're positive and you're in a negative situation and you start lifting them up with you, then everybody starts lifting up. You know, everybody starts coming up around you too. And like, we especially like like our past guests, like I still like some of the stuff that people like Chiamaro like recited to me, like, listen, if I'm rising, you're rising with me. And like I noticed in my life that there are some situations that I cut off. There are some situations that I had to walk away from because not only was it not having a positive impact in my life,
Hello,
but it was
somebody
bringing me
came.
down. Yeah, Morgan. Morgan shows up
Morgan. Thank you, Morgan.
promptly an hour after we start our pod. Not joking. But she
I
messaged me in the
love
morning
what
too.
you
She said good
say.
morning, and I was like, good morning. She's like happy. She said happy
I feel
motivation
like
station day.
everybody needs a reminder.
No, that's what she said to me this morning. She said happy motivation station day. I was like, see, so she's on point, and then she shows
No.
up at 12. I'm happy you showed up either way. I'm just teasing you, but like to your situation, it's, I mean, I definitely like, I had to like build that mentality more. And I don't like saying it in such a way like contagious or being infectious or infection or anything like that, but or spread like a disease, because it's worded in such a weird way, right? But I mean it in a
Yeah.
positive light. Like I want to shed that
Yeah.
goodness, that light and stuff like that. I fell asleep in my desk chair waiting for the show. What the heck? She probably stayed up gaming too, so she
I'm
does
glad
that.
I'm glad you woke up.
You could have just had it playing in the
Ha-
background, you know?
Happy Women's Day, Morgan. We run the world. You're gonna re-listen this podcast because this podcast it's all about that weird word contagious, and we're
Yeah, yeah, right.
bringing light and faith and all the good.
Um, I forgot what I was saying, but anyway, but yeah. So I'm happy.
Sorry.
No, 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 no. So like to your thing, like yeah, there's times where I don't know when I'm actually making a impact per se. Sometimes people be direct with me, like you just said it now, like you're making a difference. And I think I remember telling a story that one day I was hanging out with my cousin, and he said, "You're my hero," and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, what do you mean by that? But like,
Mhm.
he
Mhm.
said the same thing you said. He said that like what you do, like you may not notice, but like you just try your best. And he's like, despite the odds against you, despite the world against you, despite even like your own body against you, he's like, you still keep going. um and I didn't think about it. I was just being me, which I think, if you can be in a world like in a world of so many different people, being able to be yourself is one of the best things you could possibly be, if not sorry, the best thing you can be. And the people that we are, the motivating people we are, even if we come from different positions of motivation. Some of us want to be successful in business, some of us want to be successful in money, some of us just want to have a happy life. I just want to be a good dad, stuff like that. We're all fighting for our own reasons. We're all fighting to be successful in something, and the beautiful part is we're all fighting together in this. you know and like you just told me, like, hey, I motivated you. I'm happy I did, because now that you're motivated, I'm motivated. And now Morgan might watch this podcast and she might be motivated. Like there's a lot,
Everyone
there's a
who's
lot
gonna
happening.
watch will be motivated, along with those cards, with the coffee cards that I found,
Yeah,
right? Which
yes.
I'm going to send you one of those. What do you like? Espresso, latte, cappuccino, or americano? What do you like?
I'm espresso. I like espresso.
Okay, so I'm gonna send you espresso cards.
All right, deal. I'll
And
wait for it.
along with those cards, I found this amazing book. Okay, I like thrift stores for books and cards.
Mm.
That's like my thing that I go to. I found this beautiful book. It's called Together.
Together. Okay, there. Yeah.
Together.
Hmm.
Together. And whatever I open, I'm gonna read it now because it's just amazing.
All right, go story time.
Together, yes. Together, we pull away from each other and come back to each other with grace. Time doesn't take away from true friendship, nor does separation. Tennessee Williams.
That's beautiful.
It's just like,
Do we
together we see
Oh, sorry.
possibility,
Mm.
even in the wildest circumstances. See, I need to hear this. There's nothing we cannot leave down and rise above and overcome.
What a perfect timing to read this, to be honest. I literally named the podcast We Are Stronger Together. And you pull out a book
Together.
that says together. And I didn't even know you had the book. Like, what the hell?
I just got this book. Just got this book. Two
But like,
dollars, guys.
literally,
$2.
guys, literally, we were like, so Rose messaged me and she's like, our guest isn't coming. Let's start 10 minutes before, right? And I was like, all right, what are we talking about? All right, Women's Day, okay. I was like, what am I gonna name this? We're stronger together. All right, perfect. All right, well, I'm gonna put it in. And then Rose pulls out a book that says together. That is actually insane. Um, quick question before anything, right? Because I do want to talk about the importance of having people in our life, right? Do we have a guest next week? As of
We
like right
do.
now, we do. It's not about friendship by chance, is it? Because we need to do a podcast about friendship too. Then, well, we won't do it next week. We'll wait for another week then, because there's an
Mm,
importance
mm,
and a
mm.
story to that
You
that
know
I would like
what?
to share.
Uh, Friendship is a good one. Mm,
No, no, if it doesn't apply
next
next
week,
week, it's fine. But we do need to do one because I do want to share stories about that. So next week is fine. No, I want to ask because this week was I don't know what the podcast was going to be for this week's guest, but we'll figure it out.
you know what it is like for me personally. For me, messages arrive in the morning or at night
Mm,
before the podcast, right?
okay.
So it's like I'm flowing, and the gut tells me what's gonna be tomorrow because we
Yeah.
never know what's gonna be, right? So
Correct.
I will tell you I have a guest, and then I don't know what the guest is gonna talk about because guest is very radiant, and I cannot wait. It's just everything
Yeah. I mean,
about
for the
him. It's
most
gonna
part,
be a he,
yeah.
and it's like radiant, right? So, and it's, when the message usually comes like in the morning, and I usually text you, right? I'll try. I always will.
Yeah. No,
Every
you
morning,
you
like,
messaged me.
listen, today's
Yeah.
about this because this is what came to me.
Hmm.
You know, today came to me that I need to share that together we see possibility even
Yeah.
in the wildest circumstances.
Yeah.
There's nothing we cannot leave down and rise above and overcome.
Yeah. Nah, I think that
Period.
that book needed literally to be in front of your face
It needed to be in my hands.
today. Yeah. Out of all the days, out of all the times. Yes, absolutely, I agree.
It's about together. It's about community. It's about uniting. It's about faith. It's about knowing what you want and trust.
Yeah. And this,
Thank you, Morgan.
and it's more powerful together. Period. You know, we are strong. We are strong alone, but we are stronger together.
I am my mom's favorite.
Yeah. I don't like to tell my brother, but I like to tell him that I'm my mom's favorite too. But I'll say it on the podcast, and eventually it'll be seen. But but
Send it to
honestly,
him.
overall, amazing podcast. I appreciate. I mean, the reason I definitely didn't talk as much, right? Because I knew today was gonna be more about you. Today more was gonna be more about Women's Day as well, but more about your mom, and just
It's
everything happening to
the
you.
show is about, yeah.
And I think we've talked to each other all week this week, and I know you're going through a lot, and I can tell that you letting it out, like from the time that we started the podcast to me looking at you an hour and 15 minutes later now, I can see that you're doing a lot better, and I can tell you're feeling a lot better. So this podcast was definitely a lot more for you than anyone. And I'm happy to hear that your mom is doing better, and I pray
Shukriya.
I pray and continue to pray, and I know the rest of us are continuing to pray for her health and her wellness. And obviously, anything you need, reach out. We'll do the best we can. And thank you again so much for everything you do for Motivation Station. I know you're more. I may not show it as much because I'm so tired of this crap, but I'm very proud of you putting the work in and making us an LLC. And I'm looking forward to not just us doing this as friends, right? But not just business partners as well. But I think it's going to be an opening chapter to our next adventure, uh, as Rose, as Sanjay, and as Motivation Station. So I appreciate everything you do, and I'm sure I can say we for all our viewers, people who tune in live or not. I know they're thankful for everything. So thank you. All right.
Thank you
And
so
to anyone,
much.
today I know it was a little bit quieter day, but hey, listen, we still had a fantastic time here. Even though Morgan showed up an hour, Morgan, I'm literally gonna tease you for the rest of the day. But I appreciate you guys watching before and after I mean
Yeah,
our channels are blowing up, and I'm super proud of what we're doing.
yeah.
And it's still we're still in the very early stages. You know.
I want to say that Theory, I want to wish her wellness. She's fighting asthma, her
Oh yeah, yeah.
attacks, asthma attacks. I want to say that Frank's store where he's working is closing. So, and
Yeah.
Frank is losing job, and I told Frank, listen, you just got to find another job. That's all you can do.
Keep
And
fighting.
I know right now is Venus retrograding, Mercury's about to retrograde, planetary shifts, crazy energy, plus it's weather change, weather, you don't know what's happening. Like last night we have 29 degrees. I was like, what is happening? You
Yeah, don't
know,
remind me about
it's
it.
like today is 57, and I'm like, please. It's like the week of, like, tsunami. It's like
Yeah,
inner
yeah.
tsunami, It's like God is telling us, if you don't change what you do now, you end up in the same
Listen,
shithole,
listen.
excuse my language, where you've been.
For what it's worth, take a reflection at this, right? So it's kind of
It's a
just like
reflection time.
yeah. In the reason I'm gonna say that is because like right now the world around you is crazy, right? So when I say the world around you, I mean what's happening in your life is crazy, right? I think this honestly is the truest form of God challenging you to say, look, all this stuff is happening around you. What are you gonna be like, right? He's testing you right now and saying, like, listen, the world around you is chaos. Are you gonna fall into chaos, or are you gonna keep fighting for yourself? And I think that's what's happening to you right now. Is despite everything that's hitting you right now, Rose, are you gonna continue fighting and be Rose, or are you gonna succumb to the world around you? And I think today's podcast was great for you because you needed to self-reflect on everything. And now that we're near the end of our podcast, more or less, you've self-reflected, and you know now
Yes,
what you need to do. You know now how you need to feel. You know now that everything will be fine because your faith is back in you, right? So there might be a tsunami around you, and it was brushing on your soul, it was brushing on your soul, your heart, your mind, everything, right? But you are in the center where hurricane more like, but in the eye of a hurricane, everything is calm. You know that, like in the eye of a hurricane, everything is calm, and that's where you are, and you're trying to bring that calmness out now. you're trying to recover from all the chaos that's happening. And I think today was a good day for you to go through those
Yes,
trials, right? And I think you're coming out on top. And I know after this podcast, you're gonna have a better mentality. You're gonna have a better mindset out of it, and you're gonna read that book, which is fantastic. I'll have to look that up and get that too. But I honestly think that all that stuff aligned with everything that's been happening, you needed. And dude, I'm proud of you,
thank you.
and I understand that life isn't easy and stuff is challenging, but together we get through this, right?
Yes, together. Sometimes we're on top of the world, sometimes the world on top of us.
Yep.
So, and right now, we just gotta keep climbing
Yep.
because
Keep fighting.
the best view is where is on top of the world.
Hmm.
We're just gonna keep climbing, as you said. Think one day at a time,
And one day at
one
a
day at
time.
a time,
110%. One day
day
at
at a
a time.
time,
Amen. Uh,
and together,
together. That's it. Together we can do
that's it.
this. Together we are strong.
This book went right in my eye. I was like, I need that book.
Perfect timing too. I'm telling you, perfect timing for the book.
Everything, right? Synchrony. Everything works just the
Uh,
way it has to.
so for me, the final words for today are just gonna continue to be, you're fighting a great fight. Keep that positivity. Anything I can help you with, please feel free to reach out. I look forward. You did mention you're going to come back to Jersey in the next few months or so we definitely need to get back together. I still want to do like an in-person podcast, which we'll figure out because we have space and stuff like that to do it. But other than that, like everybody else, I do hope everything is good and together, like just like our podcast says, like we're strong. My dad is a huge advocate about together. When I was younger, that's all he ever said was we do things together. The good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter. We do everything together. Long story short, the older we got, he stopped saying it, but when he stopped saying it, I started saying it. So now that shows that what he tried to water me like a flower, what he was trying to build me to do, I started to do. So I know he's proud of that too. So, but everything we do together, we do it and we can make it. And I wish everyone a happy Women's Day, right? Especially in Russia. Happy International Women's Day in Russia. And I hope,
Thank you.
I'm gonna look up some videos or something to watch some celebrations and stuff like that. And once again, I'm happy to hear your mom is doing well. And every week we need to get updates on Rose's mom. 110%.
Look at this gorgeousness.
Look at
Just
that.
look at this gorgeousness.
You need to
Wow.
just have that on display, like somewhere somehow. There
It's
you go.
like sitting in my desk right now. I'm like, wow.
It's very
First of all,
colorful.
this is my favorite color, and I never seen them like this. You
Hmm.
see the like thorns or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just gorgeous. I never seen it. And the best part, they're plants, so I can replant them.
Yeah. You better. The weather's getting better finally. You can finally replant them. Replant them.
What it is they can come back next week because they come back every year.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well, those are mine. Final thoughts. What are your final words for Motivation Station today, Rose?
Today, Motivation Station became LLC. Today, Motivation Station is growing. Today, Motivation Station is definitely station for motivation. Today, we are strong together.
100%.
And cheers to
Cheers,
all of
sis.
you
Yes.
who's watching.
I
Thanks
have
for
to.
liking, subscribing, sharing. Every single person, every single comment we see, we appreciate. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Put that bell notification so you got the notification in your phone so you won't fall asleep and catch our next episode. And I'm wishing you guys motivated day.
Yeah, we wish you a motivate. I gotta get new mugs. I still have my winter cat mug. I gotta get some spring mugs or
Cheers.
something. But cheers to you, Rose. Cheers to your mom. Cheers to everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see
Feel
you guys.
better. Get
Yes,
that vitamins going.
listen, it's
Wake up.
important. Take care of your body, all right? Because that affects everything. Take care of your body. But all right, everyone, have a